Hey, I'm Laura K Morghon with Remax Northwest.
And I'm Katie Colgan with Nexa Mortgage. I'm a loan officer here in the state of Washington.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about FHA loans. Katie, what is an FHA loan?
So, an FHA loan is a loan that is secured by the Federal Housing Administration. It usually has looser guidelines.
Okay, so when you say looser guidelines, like what kind of credit score would I need to get an FHA loan?
Okay, so typically we can go down as low as 500, but you
Wow.
have to put more down. So, anywhere from 500 up to just under 580, you would have to put 10% down. 580 and above, we're looking at 3.5% down.
Okay, so that's really pretty accessible. Because a lot of conventional loans you need like 700, right?
Oh yeah, so you're looking at a 680 when we're talking conventional and then 5% down. And
Okay,
it could depend on what's going on with credit score and whatnot. And
right.
or
And
unique factors.
FHA rates tend to be lower too, right?
Absolutely. So even if someone has a higher score, 720 even or so, I may suggest using an FHA mortgage because they're going to save as far as interest rates go. Makes sense.
Okay. Well, what are the downsides of using FHA?
Yeah, so if you are using an FHA mortgage, there's something called MIP or mortgage insurance that you have to pay. So this insurance, it's an additional cost on top of your mortgage payment monthly. And this typically is for the lifetime of the loan. Um, there are some different scenarios that, you could put 10% down and then that falls off around 11 years out. But
Mhm. But it doesn't make a
usually,
lot of sense, right? If you were because it you'd still have to pay mortgage insurance on a conventional loan, right?
yes,
If you put a
exactly.
low down payment, and unless you have 20% down, there's going to be some mortgage insurance. So,
Yeah,
but the
there are
difference
some,
is you can get rid of it, right?
exactly. But also, there's usually a smaller payment when you're using FHA and you're looking at that mortgage insurance too. So when you compare the situation, sometimes FHA turns out to be more affordable, but knowing that that person's going to refinance when rates drop, we look at the bigger picture and say, hey, this makes sense for now. And then we know that we'll go ahead and refinance it in the future.
Okay. And it seems like FHA also can be an opportunity for people to be able to buy that maybe couldn't otherwise. Is that true?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's this FHA is for. It's really to open that opportunity for home ownership for low to, middle income types. Also, we could serve people that are above that, but that's what it's here for, is to really open the door of opportunity for those types of with less rigorous guidelines.
Okay. So I guess if you could uh, you can buy a house with FHA, but how expensive can that house be?
So you want to look at your county limits in your area.
FHA also can be an opportunity for people to be able to buy that maybe couldn't otherwise. Is that true?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's this FHA is for. It's really to open that opportunity for home ownership for low to, middle income types. Also, we could serve people that are above that, but that's what it's here for, is to really open the door of opportunity for those types of people that couldn't otherwise with less rigorous guidelines.
Oh, can you buy a house? What about a multifamily property?
Absolutely. So there are some different types of house homes that you could buy. You could buy a condo, definitely, but the HOA would have to be working with FHA and follow their rules and guidelines. You could also buy up to a fourplex with this type of loan. Um, it'd still be your primary when you're purchasing a multi-unit. Um,
Right. So
there's
that
definitely.
That's
options
important, right?
manufactured homes
You
as well.
have to own or occupy to use
Yes.
FHA, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
And you're only allowed to have one FHA loan.
Okay. And it must be your home or your primary residence.
Yes,
Okay. So, but you could buy a fourplex and live in one of those units and rent out the other three.
absolutely.
Okay. So, and what kind of contribution can the seller make for an FHA buyer?
So for an FHA buyer, a seller may contribute up to 6% of the closing costs and the prepaid items, and it cannot exceed the closing
If
costs.
you are thinking of actually buying a house and you might be using an FHA loan or you want more information, you should definitely call Katie or call me. So, or both of us ideally. And we would be happy to work together to help you get that home. So,
Absolutely. And, because I am a lender that can broker out, I have a lot of different options with FHA and different overlays that may loosen up those guidelines for you. So I definitely would love to help you explore that avenue for sure. So just reach out.
okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to tell people about FHA in this short video?
I think FHA is really a great way for someone to get into a home. And it just makes it easy. It's just a wonderful option.
Hmm. It's an opportunity for you to get your foot in the door so that you own a property, and as the property values go up in your area, your value is going up too, so that when you sell that home, you have that down payment to do your move up house.
Absolutely. It's a tool.
Yeah,
And I think it's really important to zoom out and look at the big picture and see what tools work best for your unique situation, and really come up with a plan based off of that.
yeah. So, and I've definitely had buyers get great houses using FHA. So I would recommend looking into it. Sometimes it's the best loan option out there, and the rates are good, and the guidelines are a little bit looser than a conventional loan. So people that may not qualify for, or may not have that down payment for a conventional loan can often get an FHA loan and get started, get into the housing market and be able to have a home that they own, which is so special and so wonderful. So that's my hope for people. I love helping people find their home.
Yeah, and
Um,
when you don't have that 20% down, I think a lot of people have this misconception that they have to have this large down payment when that's not the truth. And using an FHA loan, actually, by using that mortgage insurance, you're allowing yourself to have that smaller down payment and really get into a home a lot
yeah.
with better ease.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're buying $1 million home, 20% down is $200,000. Who's got that in their bank account, you know?
Yeah, especially if you don't have a home that you're selling.
Yeah,
So that can be
somebody
tricky.
who's, coming into the housing market for their first purchase, it's really hard to come up with a huge number like that. And unfortunately, in our market, that's, not a particularly fancy house. you
Yeah,
know?
you know, absolutely. And there's a lot of down payment assistance programs as well where we'll have to dive deeper into those options one of these days. But even if you're not sure if you have that much to put down, let's look into your options, meet with me, and we'll kind of see what checks all the boxes for you. We can find a program to
Absolutely.
help with that down
If
payment.
if there's a will, there's a way, and we'll
Yeah,
figure out how to make it work for you, if it's at all possible. So, with that said, thanks, Katie, and that was great information. And until next week.
sounds great. Thank you so much, Laura. I appreciate you and your time today.